everyone, Amanda here, thanks for joining me today. So I'm going to share with you how I recently made a journal. It was an interactive flip journal. I will leave it as a suggested video in the description box below. It'll also be, there'll be an icon round about here somewhere towards the end of the video, so you can go and see my full flip through of that journal to see what you can create with this, with what I'm going to share with you. So it's going to make an interactive envelope flip style journal. So what we're going to do, first of all, I'm going to share what you're going to need. You're going to need at least 2 of the larger envelopes. So these are the ones that typically are used to put A4 sheets in, you know, letters, so that they don't bend. They're just ever so slightly larger. If you can source your envelopes, you know, from junk that comes through the door, all the better. If not, you can source them fairly cheaply from your local supermarket if you're in the UK, from the range, or on Amazon. Okay, I have quite a wide selection and I don't mind if I need to purchase some because I do use them so regularly in my journals. So I've got a selection of envelopes here that you might use. So 2 of those larger ones will create our base. And then you need 2 of these with the windows. You can easily get these recycled. These come through your door on a regular basis with those horrible letters from billing. If you don't have any junk mail, again, you can purchase them, or you can even make them yourself using paper and cut out the windows. Okay, there's always a way of doing everything. So you know, there's no reason to say, well, I don't have this and I don't have that. If you don't have exactly what somebody shows you, go and have a look in your collection and see what you do have that you could use instead. Okay, I have these envelopes are from a card kit that I've had a long time. So I'm just using them up. I'm not going to send the cards anymore, they're Christmas themed. So I'll use the envelopes up. They're nice and sturdy. These again are from a pre-bought, you know, where you get the blank craft card bases and envelopes, and I've got some left over. We always save them. These are CD wallets. Envelopes, you can sometimes pick them up fairly cheaply. The prices do vary on these. I think it must depend on demand. I've picked them up before for a pack for 50p, and then other times you see them on Amazon and they can be ridiculous, but it is what it is. If you can't find any, then again, you can make these very easily. All you need to do is make a very basic pocket, fold it over, cut a circle out, you've got one. Absolutely easy. And then some of these standard envelopes, just whatever you can find. These measure, I don't even know what size they are because all the packaging has gone. 9 by 6 1/4. Okay, so they're all your typical envelopes. Alright, so the other thing that you're going to need is you're going to need a ruler, a blunt or rounded object if you want to score. When you're scoring envelopes, sometimes you've got to be gentle with them. A pencil if you want to mark any measurements. If you have a scoreboard, that's even better. It makes your life easier, but it's not essential. You need a good glue. I advise wet glue. First of all, it gives you room for manoeuvre, and also it's just better. Your double-sided tapes are okay for card making and things like that. I wouldn't make a journal with double-sided tape or an album because I think over time it wouldn't hold. Okay, so a decent glue. It doesn't have to be this one. It can be one of your choice for attaching this together. It doesn't really matter what kind of glue, as long as it's a decent strong wet glue. Okay, don't use a PVA with a really high water content. Alright, so there's different kinds of PVA glue. I've got a huge collection, most crafters have. So this Anita's Tacky Glue is really good, it's lovely. I've used it lots, but on thinner paper it will make it wrinkle, so bear that in mind because it's got a high water content. That one's slightly less water content, so that one won't wrinkle as much. This one won't wrinkle at all because it doesn't have a high water content and it's solvent based, so it'll dry really fast and it won't wrinkle the paper. It's up to you what you use. If you have glue sticks, I don't use them for joining things together. Use them for collage, use them for making ephemera, but not for sticking the envelopes together. It might not be strong enough. Well, it won't be strong enough. Okay, and then the other thing that you is an advantage, but if you don't have it, it doesn't matter. Either washi tapes you can use, okay, to go down the joins of where you're folding to strengthen it. Another thing you can use are recycled book pages. If you've got an old book, you can layer over the joins with book pages and some glue to strengthen. What I use is cotton fabric. It's not 100% cotton, it's polycotton. It's a bed sheet, it's a single bed sheet I got from a local supermarket, cheap as chips, and it lasts forever. And all you're going to do is tear strips. They're going to be about 8 inches by about, I don't know, what's that? I tend to do it by eye. 8 inches by about 1.5 to 2 inches at the most. So you don't need a lot. So have a look, see if you've got any plainish fabric in your collection that you could use. You don't want it to be too thick because you don't want to add loads of bulk, but it will help strengthen. Okay, so that's what you're going to need. So if you'd like to follow along, you can join me and we will get started. Okay, so we're going to start and create the main basic base of the envelope flip journal. So you get your 2 envelopes like this and you seal both of them, okay? The reason that we are sealing them is we're not utilising the ends of these for pockets as they are. The reason being, we want it to be nice and strong, so we don't want to start putting anything inside these. These are our base. There's going to be lots of opportunity for other flips. You don't need to make a direct pocket out of the inside of these. You may use that part as a pocket or a top part as a pocket or there, but not the actual inside of the envelope. Keep it sturdy, okay? So the first thing you want to do is get that on your scoreboard, or like I say, use a ruler and a pencil. And we're going to score first of all at 4.5. So this is to make the slimmer style journal. You know, the TN sort of style. It might not be exactly TN sizes. I don't tend to follow exact sizes for things. I just create what I know looks nice, and this is then a nice size. So 4.5, score that, and then every 1/4 inch. So 4.25. and 5, okay, and then come on over to the 9-inch mark. No, sorry, I beg your pardon, 9.5-inch mark, because you want that to be 4.5 and that to be 4.5, because that is the size of the pages that, well, that's the size that I make for like TN. I'll do my pages at about 4.5. Maybe if I do journal pages to go inside here, I might do them just slightly shorter. Okay, but that's where we're going for. If you want to do them at 4, then just go, then start at 4 and then go every 1/4 inch, and you want this section here to be 4. And then this extra section here, we can fold that over and use that as a flip. Okay, alright. So we do the same thing on both envelopes. I've already done this one, okay. So you've scored them both exactly the same, so turn one the other way, so the mirror image. Okay, so one, you've got the flap there, that's your back, and then you've got a flap here, which is going to be your front. Okay, let's move that away. So then what you want to do is very carefully score these lines. So I'm going to explain what these lines are for. So you've got 3 score lines. Okay, now what that's going to do is if you fold those, it's going to give you enough room for when you've got flips and things closed. Okay, so that the book shuts. It's also the centre one there is going to give us enough room as well to add a small 10-page signature if you so want to. You might not want to, you might just want to sew in another envelope and do another flip component, but there will be room there, as I say, to make sure that all of these components with all of the flips will shut and everything like that, and also put a signature there. Alright, so fold all of those lines over nicely. Okay, take time. It's hard for me with the light on. With the ring light, it makes it difficult for me to see. Okay, there we go. Score those and fold them, okay, and the other one the same. You can go back and you can burnish with a bone folder if you have one. If you don't have a bone folder, you can use the edge of a ruler. It just helps reinforce those creases so that they stay put. Okay, that's the only reason we do it, is to help the paper retain its memory of where you've folded it. Okay. Mostly I'm not very serious when I'm crafting, but when I'm trying to teach, I can be a bit, you know, trying to give you the reasons of why things are done. I might go into serious mode. It never lasts. But, you know, I want you to know that what I'm telling you is a good way of doing things. Not necessarily the correct way, because there's no right or wrong, but it's a good way of doing things. Okay. So as much as I like to have a bit of a giggle and a mess about, I kind of know what I'm on about. Right, so what we're going to do now is these two will go together, okay, and that is going to create our central flip. If you went and had a look at my flip journal, which I would advise you doing, let me make sure that that's right. I would advise you to go and just have a look at what I created, so you know what you're doing, kind of thing. And have I actually measured that? So that, yeah. So I didn't think I'd measured them right. So they will go together, those. And what you want to do with this middle part is you want to glue on two sides, okay, and down each of the spine edges as well. Now what you can do here, if you want, although it's not always necessary because we can add them at the top, you could just slit just the top of that envelope bit open and add another pocket. You could do, I don't think I did in my original one, and we can always create a pocket on there. It would be stronger, and this is going to be a nice strong central pocket. So let's keep it at this, and we'll just glue down the edges. Okie doke. So thin bead of glue, just because you don't want to shorten the space that you've got for tucking things in. So thin bead of glue top and bottom. Top and bottom, and then down here. Okay, you shouldn't have any of it. I've folded this so that where I've scored is underneath. The score lines are there. Don't put glue on your score lines. You need those free. Okay, and then join those together. Okay, make sure it's all lined up so it's all straight. Okay, when you're making a journal, you want the base to be straight. I know I always say nothing has to be perfect, but when you're doing your base in a journal, you want to get it as even and as straight as you can. So make sure they're lined up top and bottom, and that they're fairly straight. They're not going to be absolutely like 100% perfect because they're envelopes. Okay, they're not necessarily going to be plumb, they're not necessarily going to be exactly the same, but get them as close as you can. And if you take the time to do that when you make your base, everything else will fall into line, and everything else will then be straight as well, and you won't struggle. Okay, so that's that bit done. And then this section here, we're going to turn into, what did I do with mine now? Trying to remember how. So there's two different ways. We'll do both scenarios actually. So the first scenario here is you can just have it as a pocket. Again, you're strengthening this first page up here, whether you attach it to chipboard, whether you just have that as your page, whether you, whatever you do, you're just reinforcing it by making that first one a pocket. So we're going to glue across the top and across the bottom. Okay. Don't worry too much if you've not layered in first with papers and stuff. It doesn't matter. There's always ways of doing it. Okay, you can just slip things in. What I tend to do when I'm decorating is I always leave a small increment anyway. So if you're doing a small increment, you can just slip it inside there and still decorate it. So that there then makes an inside pocket. Okay, we're going to leave this one. I might leave this free. I can't remember if I did that as like an extended flip with a pocket in the back there, but we'll leave it free for now so that we've got options. So that is the very base, the very basic base of that. Okay, so what you've got now is you've got a pocket there, you've got a central large pocket here, and then you've got a flip. Okay, now at this point what you can do is go and sew around things. You could sew around it before you glue that bit on first so that you're sewing around everything, and sew all around the individual little spines and everything. Okay, I'm not doing that on this for today. And then what you can also do as you go methodically, you can line everything. We're not going to line the spines because that's going to, these ones are spines, we're not lining those because those are going to get done with fabric. But joins of flips, you can line with washi tape to make them stronger if you like. Okay. I'm just using a random one. This is not even in theme with what I'm going to do, but I'm just showing you the base. So there's one option. The second option, like I say, and I'll just show you, is the fabric. So all you do is get your fabric, snip, measure whereabouts you want it roughly, about there, snip and rip. And then what you can do with your fabric, take the frayer bits off, and you can attach that on to your spine parts, both on the inside and the outside, to reinforce it. So I'll do one to show you. I'm not making the whole journal, I'm showing you the bare basics, because I think if I show you the whole journal, then I'm teaching you how to make my journal. I want to encourage you to make your own journal. So that's why I'm going to give you the bare basics of the construction of it, and then I'm going to leave you to go away and do it yourself. Okay, now I am doing a design team project again for Ephemera's Vintage Garden. I'm going to be doing this style of journal, so if you watch out for when I've finished that, then you'll see my finished results. I may do some process tutorials in between. So that will strengthen that now. Okay, I can still see my scar lines. I'm not too worried. Okay, and leave the back absolutely plain until you've decided what you do, because then if you decide you want to sew a signature in, you can see this line still, and then at the end when you've constructed all of your flips and all of your signatures, then you will go at the end when you've done and you will rip thicker strips of cotton and we will wrap it around there. Okay, so you might do a 2 inches, or for example, let me just, so what I do is a wider one, and then once I've sewn my signatures in, okay, and I've done all of my other work, then I will then wrap that around there and glue that on to secure the back side as well as the inside. Okay, yeah, perfect. So I will just do this one as well. then we will add some more envelopes, and then I'll give you some suggestions. Like I say, I'm showing you the bare construction. I'm not showing you everything because I want people to go away and make their journal, not my journal. Because that's how you learn by doing. I think I did. Everything that I've done, I've learned by watching tutorials, and then, you know, you learn properly when you create. It's like learning to drive. You don't learn how to drive properly until you're in a car and you're driving down the road. Okay. Perfect. And that cotton material is thin enough to layer over. You can just overlap slightly with your pages. Okay, so that's that one. Right, so let me show you where to put the flips. So let me just add a bit more glue on there. Right, so then what you do, this part is where you can get creative. This is the bare basic bones of it. So what I did was I got some envelopes for the centre. Okay, let me just glue that a little bit better. Now, sometimes you might need to adapt your envelopes. I decided I didn't need all of that flappy bit, so I cut some off because I didn't want it. And I also decided that if that was going to be a flip, okay, so it's going to be a flip, then I want to be able to get in there easily. I don't want this bit getting in my way, so I just cut some off. I cut across there, and then cut across there. And you can either glue that bit down or take it out. Okay, I think I took mine out. Don't forget, this is your base. You're going to go over the top of everything with collaging and make pockets. This is the basic construction. So then what I did was you attach some glue to there. You know, if you want to ink things, ink them first. If you want to sew anything, sew it before you glue it. And that attaches, you slide it in. Okay. Centralise it. If it's a smaller envelope, I mean, you could have it up, you could have it down. I liked mine in the middle. Okay. And then make sure it shuts, and then press. Okay. Also make sure that that envelope is no wider than obviously the one you've done. If you did an envelope that was bigger there, then it wouldn't shut, obviously. It might not be obvious to some people, but yeah, it'd be no good having, this is, what did we say it was, 4.5? So it's no good having an envelope that's wider than 4.5, because then it won't shut. Okay, so there's your first flip. Turn it over. Do the same on the other side with your other envelope. Cut it down. Cut this bit down to make it more accessible. You don't have to cut this bit down if you don't want. I just found that it made the envelope more accessible. It was my personal preference. Again, go and have a look at the flip through that I did, and you'll see, you'll be able to, now you've seen how I've constructed, you'll be able to see what I did. And so then over this bit here, I probably layer some digital print. Yeah, and you could make a pocket and tuck something in. Over here I added some handmade journaling cards. I glued them on 3 sides, and that became a pocket. So then you've got a pocket and a flip and another pocket, and then you could put a pocket there as well. Okay, so that one goes that way. And once you've got this base together, it's just a case of having a play and seeing what you can do and experimenting. And once you've layered up these pages with either scrapbooking paper or book pages or digital images, they become a lot stronger, and then you add more pockets and tucks and things like you would with your standard journal. Okay, right, so that flips like that. We've got a pocket there. I'm going to add something there. You can add something there. You could even put another envelope on there, a smaller one, a smaller envelope. I don't actually have one to hand. Or you can get these size of envelopes. You can fold them, and you could add another envelope and glue it in there and have that as a flip, so that folds out. Okay, just be mindful of the space that you've got because it all needs to fold in. Okay. Infinite possibilities. And then here and here, I think I had these envelopes. So what I did was, again, I sealed them. Sealed these ones, and then I trimmed the top off. Let me just grab my little cutter. I have the window at the bottom on these, and the reason that I have the window at the bottom is because I want to cut the top. I don't want to cut this bit because it's very close to the window, which is like a weak part. It's a weak spot, as it were. Okay, so we're going to trim that off just to open that top so that we can get a tag. Okay, so we can get a tag in there now. Oops, dropping things all over. So another tip is, I like the window there. Alright, it's as simple as that. So that when you've got your tag in, or a letter in, or some ephemera, you can see it, it's nice. So all you need to do here is make yourself what I call structure strips. What I call them. And you make those from scraps of paper. Alright. So let me get a scrap of paper here. Or you could use, again, you could use your fabric. So I measure, that's roughly right, okay. And then it's a good idea to have it quite wide, because the reason being, if you have it quite wide, so I mean, I do a lot of this on the fly. It's quite difficult to teach, to be honest, because a lot of it, you're kind of making it up as you go along. There's no real rhyme or reason to it. So this measures, for example, it's about 3 1/4. Okay, just about. It could be thinner, it could be fatter, don't really matter. Okay, and then I will glue it on the back of there. Okay, and that is making a hinge. And what I decide to do with that hinge is up to me. Okay, so I'm first of all, what I'm going to do is, because I like to maximise tucks, I'm just going to glue that hinge along the bottom and the 2 sides, leaving this bit open, because then I can get myself an extra tuck spot. Okay, and don't worry and think, well, that paper's not very strong, Amanda, because what you can do is, once you've got your construction and you've got all of your flips where you want, you can go back over and you can strengthen them with your digital images or your scrapbooking paper, because so you're going to be layering over the top of everything. Okay, so add that on. Keep these structure strips or hinges or joining parts, whatever you want to call them, if you keep them quite wide, then you're giving yourself more possibility. Okay, so I've got the possibility of a tuck there now. Okay, I'd layer over the top there with some scrapbooking paper or digital image. I might do a fancy board, or I might even add another corner pocket there, but I've added myself another tuck. Okay, and then the same here. If I just glue it on 3 sides, and this envelope is slightly smaller than my first one, which is perfect. And again, you don't want it to be any fatter than, but if you do it at 4 1/2, then all the envelopes they shouldn't be any bigger than that. Okay, and if they are, trim them down. Okay, so that will open like so. So then I'm just using this scrap here, I've now got a pocket there from the flap. I've got an extra tuck there that I can use. I've got a tuck there that I can use. I can put anything I want on there, and I've got a top loading pocket there. Okay, now if I wanted to be really, really adventurous and really fancy, I could get some of my smaller envelopes in my collection, such as maybe, I don't think that one's exactly going to fit. No, that one's not going to fit. Let me see if I've got some. I'm not going to do it, but I'm just going to show you. So here's my basket full of envelopes of all different sizes. So there's a smaller envelope, for example. There's another smaller envelope, and there's another, just so I can show you as an example. If I wanted to be fancy, I could maybe trim that down. I could have that as an extra flip there or there. Okay, I could use these small envelopes here. I could attach it to that pocket there and have that as another flip. As long as I made sure that that closed, I could have that as a flip. And then I've got that. And then when I open that, I've got that and that. This is what I mean. You can absolutely do anything you want. In fact, that's a really nice idea. I like that. I think I'm going to stick that on there. So it is just a case of, once you've got that base that I've shown you with the two larger envelopes together, then work through, see what you've got and see what fits. But think about it carefully, don't just stick anything anywhere. Okay, like for example this one here, I'm going to need to release those because I want to be able to access those envelopes from the other side. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put it on here, aren't I? So I could put it, yeah, if I put it, I'll put it down here, and then we've got different levels of flips because that one's in the middle, and if I have this one down here, then it's just, it's at a different level, so it just gives added interest. I'm just going to pull it back a bit where I'm gluing it and make sure that it's not infringing on where that shuts. Okay, so just pull it back a bit and straighten it. Yeah, okay, so then you've got another flip there with another pocket. Alright? Okay, so that's that. We've got that bit. We've got that bit. We've got that bit. We've got that bit. So over here, I think I added, let's have a look what I added there. Did I add that one? Yeah, I think on this one what I did was the same as the front. So I release the top, release the top. In fact, I think for the purpose of this video we will just mimic it. Okay, we'll just do the same on this side that we did on the other side. So this is going to get glued on two sides, on the top and the bottom. Okay, just makes it easier. You could turn it into a flip, but we're just doing it for ease. Okay. Yeah. And then we'll do the same here. We'll get another piece of scrap. Let's have a look. Scrap paper. This'll do. Is it long enough? Okay. Get my trimmer. Trimmer, where are you? And I just use scraps to make my hinges. About 3.5, the other one wasn't it? Fold it in half. If you want to ink it, ink it. If you want to do any sewing, do sewing before you glue. Okay. Then we're going to do the same as we did last time. We're going to glue it top, edge, folded edge and bottom. glue that on. I want the pocket at the bottom there. Yep, so I'm sticking it on this way. Just think before you stick. Centralise it. Okay. So then again I've got a tuck there, and I'm going to have a tuck here. So I'm just going to glue it at the top and at the centre. And centralise it. Get it straight. Make sure it shuts, and there is your base. Now I'm just trying to think what I did, because I did have a top loading pocket here when I did mine. No, I'll tell you what I did. When I attached the front covers, I glued the front covers on 4 sides, and then that can be a pocket. Okay, you, like I say, you can slit these before you glue them together, and that would make a pocket either side as well, but I think you've got enough to be going on with there. So that's your basic construction. It's easy as pie. Okay, it will grow, it will spread out as you create, and you will very easily fill that. So then it's a case of creating things to go in your pockets and decorating each one, layering up with your digital images or your scrapbooking paper. So here we've got pocket there, we've got a tuck there, we've got a pocket there, we've got a flip with a pocket, we've got another possible pocket there, and then here you can add a pocket there. That flips, you can do pockets galore on there and another pocket there. Okay, then in the centre here you've got another large pocket. I put a file folder in mine. You could do what you want, you could put anything in there. Okay, and then here again you've got another flip. You can create more pockets there, tucks, whatever you want, loaded pockets, flips, anything. You've got another pocket there. Okay, and then here at the back, top loading pocket there, and then you've got a tuck there, and a pocket there. I think that's enough for you to be going on with. And if you can think of other things as you're going, like I did with that, then that is an added bonus. And then when you've done all of that, then you put your signatures in there, which want to be about no more than 4.5 inches wide when they're folded together, which is 4.5's 9, isn't it? I'd probably do it a little bit less. No more than 10 pages. So 10 sheets together, folded in half, sew them down the middle, add them in, okay? Or sew them in. And yet that's how you do your basic construction. So do keep an eye. Do go look at the suggested video, and keep an eye for my next design team project for Ephemera's Vintage Garden, because I will be doing a version of this. I'm going to try and do a more advanced version, but I will be doing one, so you'll be able to get some more ideas. Alright, thanks for watching. I hope that helps. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.